Hello, I'm Angela Kamgasa Nsimbi. I'm a mother, I'm a journalist, I'm a wife, and I'm also a peer support worker. I'm a trainer of trainer at the Butabika Recovery College, and also a leader in Heartsounds Uganda. I'm a national coordinator. And I think at this point, most importantly, I'm somebody who has suffered mental illness. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder. And this is a condition which actually shook my world. It shook me out of my comfort zone. I got to know what it's like, what it feels like to be forgotten. I understand what it's like to be rejected, because I went through those moments. I actually hit rock bottom. It's like I was in a bottomless pit. Plainly put, it's like being in a grave. You are alive, but you don't have life. That's what I was like. And from my experience, it shook my world, because my children asked questions. What is happening to mommy? They asked questions. And actually, I was concerned for the few who never asked questions, because I remember when I was ill, some of them got sick as well. They got smallpox, chicken pox. They actually got sick. One of them lost a tooth. They were traumatized at different levels. My son had to learn, he was 4 months at the time, he had to learn how to have his meals using a feeding bottle. He was exclusively breastfeeding. And then my husband also had to learn to manage the home without my help and without even any economic contribution from my side. It was a moment of pain, a moment where I had to reflect on so many things, because truth be told, I was like hidden somewhere and forgotten, faceless, nameless. I didn't think life mattered anymore. However, I got to that place because I was so broken. I got to that place where I asked God, because I know everybody gets to that point, whether we believe in God or not. You get to that point where you believe there's somebody who is mightier than me, somebody who is stronger than the health institutions, who can fix me. And I asked God, fix me. I asked him to stop the voices which were speaking negatively into my life, to stop, to dial them out of my life. I asked God to show me who I was. And when I got to that place, I realized that I was more broken than I thought I was, because I had so much pain bottled up inside of me, and I felt if I didn't talk about it, things would get better. I feared to rock the boat. You know, I was raised in a home where my dad and mom never got on. Okay, my dad is deceased now, but they never got on. So I never wanted to live a life where it's rocky, there's chaos, people are always quarreling and at each other's throats. I didn't want that life. So when I saw certain things which are not going right in my life, I thought by keeping quiet, things would be better. But eventually, it blew out into the condition the doctors told me. And I realized as I continued to go on the path of self-discovery, I realized God showed me who I was in him. He repeatedly told me never to forget that he loves me with unfailing love. He repeatedly told me never to forget that he loves me. You know, that's the power of love. When you know somebody loves you, When you know someone believes in you, it keeps you going. And at this point, I'm speaking at a level where it's actually divine. It's not a level where because my husband has told me, or my wife has told me, or my sister or kids have told me. But most importantly, also the letters my children would write to me. They would say, "You're the best mom ever." When I would see that, I would read that, it struck a chord in my heart. I realized, you know what, they still believe in me. And when they would say all sorts of beautiful things. And then my boy, to this day, okay, I've had him after the diagnosis, but my son, even when everybody's watching television, there's so much noise around home, my son just walks away from everybody else and comes and hugs me. That does it for me. To me, that is purpose. That I'm responsible for this life, because one day he's going to be someone's husband, one day he's going to be someone's father. And I'm raising daughters as well who are going to be someone's wives. They're going to be someone's mothers. So for somebody who has been battered, you've been rejected, you've been isolated, you've been labeled, I just want to speak to you that just know that you're worth more than anything. Actually, I can't even say you're worth $1 million. Even $1 million is nothing. You're so valuable. And one thing that shows us how valuable we are, when they take your fingerprint, nobody in this world has your fingerprint. It's only you. Such that even when they are making criminal or searching for you, God forbid, as a criminal or whatever, they'll never find anybody else with your fingerprints. That's how uniquely we are made. So you are special, you are unique, you have purpose. And it's not over. Me, I say it's not over until God says it's over. So take this time, the moment of being away from the rest of society, as a time of preparation for bigger things, as a time of preparation to also be of service to others. Because I never ever thought that sharing my story would change lives. I never ever thought that by sharing my story I would get my life back. And that's why I will never stop to talk about the goodness of the Lord, because I always say I will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Because mental illness is like a label which says, because wherever you are, whichever part of the world, it's like it says you are dead. You are a write-off. You are an outcast. For some of you, when there's a special occasion back home, they lock you up in the house. People don't want to be ashamed by identifying with you, even your own family members. So mental illness has also been a label of shame. But to me, it is now the season of favor. Because if someone will stand up and say, you know what, Angela, because you shared your story, I got my life back. That's enough for me. So for me, what I can say is that may my story inspire you to take a step in the right direction to bring change. The time to change is now. It's time to give mental illness a human face. Yeah.